Let's see where to begin. It all started 65 million years ago, when the dinosaurs inhabited the earth. Mighty beasts roamed the land.
5 minutes later.
And so the Neanderthals were extinct, making room for the Homo sapiens to...
7 hours later.
And finally I began my fat loss journey. Hi, my name is Alex from thekeytofatloss.com, and today we'll be talking about my fat loss transformation and a bit about my life story. So here goes. As you already may know from my accent, I was born and raised in Romania. I still live here, more precisely Transylvania. Yeah, that Transylvania. Don't know what the fuss is about. Vampires, monsters, beasts, werewolves. Never seen a vampire in my life. I was a pretty normal kid in primary school. Normal weight, nothing much, but the weight started showing up as soon as I got to grade 5 or 6, I think, and colleagues started noticing and started making a bit of fun of my weight. But it was just child's play, it didn't matter at the moment, it was all good. The biggest problem was when I got to high school. In high school, I gained a significant amount of weight and it really started affecting my life. In high school I started my first weight loss diet because I felt the need to lose weight. It affected my social life, it affected my mental health. I needed to do something about it. The first diet I used was the worst diet on this planet. It turns my stomach even when thinking about it. We called it the dissociated diet, I think. It was this 3-day split. On the first day you could only eat lean meats. On the second day you could eat low-fat dairy. And on the third day you could eat fruits and vegetables. That's it. Rinse and repeat. As you can imagine, you can't stick to that sort of diet for too long. I would count the days until the diet was finally over. Sure, you would lose some weight. Every crash diet works. You lose the weight, but then something happens. You stop the diet. You can't continue on forever. Once you go back to your normal eating habits, the fat is coming back and then some. It's coming back with a vengeance. I did not know at the time what was going on, and after a few months I gained the weight back. I gained even more, and I thought I messed something up with the diet. I thought I was to blame, not the diet itself. So I attempted it again, and again I lost weight. It went perfectly fine. Once I ended the diet and came back to my old eating habits, again the weight got right back where it was, and then some. That was the moment I quit dieting. I was convinced dieting is not for me. I cannot do this through dieting, and I basically gave up. I went to university where things got really bad. I had a lot of time on my hands, not a lot of activity to do. I played a lot of video games. I drank a lot. The diet was every teenager's diet. Soda, pizza, hamburgers, fries, fast food. Every piece of junk food you can imagine. Pounds upon pounds started adding up until I got obese. It has gotten to a point where it was really affecting my life on a daily basis. It wasn't so much the physical aspects, even though I did get tired from the slightest activity. I couldn't play any sports because I was too big. The pressure on my knees was too much to handle. I could barely go up a flight of stairs without breathing like a damn choo-choo train. But the mental side of things was even worse. When you're overweight, when you're obese, you always know. You always have fake confidence, but you're never actually confident. You're always thinking about it. It's always there. It's always on your mind. And when it starts affecting other people around you, that's when it gets worse. I started seeing the world around me was not built for fat people, was not fat people friendly. I soon started seeing the public transportation, either a bus, a train, a plane. Seats were so narrow, I would actually take up 2 seats. And as you can imagine, it affected the person who had to sit next to me, because even though I would shimmy over and try to squeeze in as little space as possible, they still had a reduced space, and that affected me greatly when I started seeing that my condition, my problem was affecting other people besides me. I could not buy clothes that I wanted. It was very hard shopping for clothes. A standard shopping experience is you go to the shop, you look at the sizes and choose the one you like best. Well, I couldn't do that because my options were, will it fit or will it not fit? In most cases, there were very few options to actually choose from. I had to go to multiple shops just to find a piece of clothing that actually fit me and I could actually wear it. After I finished university, I went back to my hometown and started working there on a 9-to-5 job, and I began studying. I began looking at YouTube videos, reading studies, reading ebooks. I started to study how our bodies reacted to nutrition, how our bodies reacted to training, and I decided I need to lose the weight. I regained my motivation, I got out of the rut I was in, so I began exercising. At that point I thought cardio was the way to go. I did all sorts of aerobic exercises with light dumbbells, jumping based exercises like jumping jacks or burpees, and soon enough I lost quite a bit of weight, but I did not have knowledge nutrition wise. Sure, I reduced the junk food, the foods I consider to be bad, you know, the common sense foods, pizza, fries, hamburgers, etc. But I would still eat rather high calorie foods because I was living with my parents and I just ate what my mom cooked. And don't get me wrong, she cooks amazing, but her foods are not the most low calorie foods you can find. The weight loss soon stopped. I didn't manage to reach my goals. I was maybe halfway through what I expected, but I was happy nonetheless. Once this phase was over, of course the weight began to slowly, this time not like the crash diet weight that came back in an instant, but it also came back slowly in a matter of months, years, and I decided I want to give it another go, but this time I want to reach my goal, not just halfway to it. I decided to learn about nutrition, so my focus was nutrition and what should we eat, what should we not eat, what I should avoid, and how my body will react to different types of foods. Of course, the first thing I searched was the magic pill, the quick solution that would solve all my problems in a heartbeat. As I've learned over the years, there is no such thing as a magic pill. There's no magic solution to solving your weight loss problem. You have to put in the effort, you have to put in the time. Editing will be a nightmare. After studying nutrition and finding out about low calorie foods and the fact that I can replace high calorie foods with foods that are less calorie rich and actually have more volume, I realized I could actually eat more, which was mind blowing for me. Like, I installed a calorie tracking app on my phone and started logging in my food and tracking my calories. If you would have told me a few years back that I would track my calories, I wouldn't have believed it. I was always against that concept. I knew about the concept for a long time, but I didn't want to count calories. For me, it was too much of an effort. It was a deal breaker for me. But once I saw there are apps that have food databases, that you only need to weigh your food, pick the food from the database and log it, that made life a lot easier, as I didn't have to do the math. I always thought counting calories was actually getting a piece of paper and doing the math and keeping track of everything in a diary. Technology helped me greatly. We live in a time where technology is actually really helpful in a lot of tasks that were previously really hard to do. Imagine tracking your calories on a food diary on paper. That's a nightmare I don't want to go through. So tracking calories was the best choice so far. It helped me lose quite a bit of weight. And because I was tracking my calories, I slowly started to learn what are the good options and what are the bad options. What foods were high in calories, what foods were low in calories. So I never actually went back to my old eating habits, eating junk food all the time. Junk food was off the menu. The weight would creep back slowly, but not crash diet level. Soon I found out that in order to reach your goals, you have to go beyond a certain threshold. You have to go beyond your comfort point. So I had to reduce the calories even further, and I applied other principles as well, like intermittent fasting. I tried keto for a bit, and sure, I made really good progress. But I made one big mistake. I kept doing cardio, but I didn't do any weight training. I realized weight training is an important step because otherwise you lose all your muscle. The moment I realized this was when I saw this picture. This was not how I pictured myself looking after losing all the weight. I thought I would look good, I would look ripped. Boy, was I wrong. Losing weight means losing muscle also. What I did was weight loss and not fat loss. In order to do just fat loss, it would mean you would only lose fat and not muscle. You would keep all your muscle while your fat stores go down. So now I had a major problem to fix because I was a skinny guy with no muscle. I was basically skinny fat. It took me 3 years of gym training to get back the muscle I lost. So my transformation wasn't a straight line from phase A to phase B, from before and after, from fat to fit. There were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of mistakes along the way that I don't want you to make. Don't make my mistakes. Listen to the advice I will provide here on my channel, and you can approach fat loss the correct way right from the start. It will save you years of trying and grinding until you finally reach your goals. Hopefully you learned something today, so if you did, smash that subscribe button, hit a like to my video, and share it with your friends so we can spread the message and help me reach more people so I can help them improve their lives. You can do it. Everyone can. No exceptions.